Welcome to Techstination. Joining us is Mark Pavlyukovskyy, the founder of Learn with Mochi. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Thanks, Fred. Good to be here.
And it's not the first time you've been with us. You are the original inventor of the Piper computer kit, and you've moved on to a product that's called Mochi, Learn with Mochi. So tell us about this, Mark.
Yeah, for sure. So, maybe I'll start off with how we came upon this product and how we created it. It actually starts off with my partner, my co-founder, Miran. He actually has 3 daughters, and they're right at that ages 2 to 7, where kids are just beginning to kind of, blossom and learn a lot of stuff and be really active. And a lot of times as parents, it's really hard to keep up with them. And for a lot of parents, they default to just giving kids the iPad. It's very good tool for pacifying kids, frankly. Miran saw that, and he realized that, a lot of the content that you have on the screens, on iPads, on YouTube, it's not actually so good for kids. A lot of it is addicting. A lot of it's actually quite harmful, and it can actually lead to developmental, kids don't develop as quickly if they're exposed to too many screens. And so we started thinking, how do we actually engage kids at that age range with something that is healthy, something that is educational, and something that also teaches them important skills like coding. And what we came up with is a purely screenless experience. It doesn't require any apps or iPads or tablets. It's just a physical programming board and a physical robot. And as well, it also comes with a plush toy bear. And the idea is to allow kids to learn the basics of programming through controlling this robot. And the way they control the robot is like putting different command blocks around the board and then press the go button, and the robot executes those commands. And that's kind of the core technology of the product. Now, the way we've made it really interesting and exciting for kids is we've actually introduced a whole narrative around this experience. So when you get this product, you actually get this plush bear. His name is Mochi. And there's also a storybook about Mochi's adventures. In fact, there's 12 storybooks. So we've written, 12 storybooks, and that's the introductory sequence. And every storybook, Mochi goes on an adventure where he learns about a different subject. So in the first book that you get with the set is actually space. So you read the book and you learn about Mochi and how he was actually, he came from a different planet. He wants to explore the solar system and eventually ends up on Earth. And once you've read the story, you can actually reenact the story yourself with the robot on the board. You can place the bear into the robot, and then you can give him directions, and he can travel from planet to planet on the map that's included, the same way that he travels in the book. And so what we've done is we've actually taken this known pattern of play that kids have, which is, story time, the ability for parents to go on imaginary adventures with their kids through the book. And we've extended that where kids can now recreate that adventure, physically in front of them with a robot. And so they have fun, they learn about, different subjects, and at the same time they learn programming.
So just for parents who may wonder, well, how is that learning programming? Give us the explanation.
Right, exactly. So in the back of the book, it's a great question. In the back of the book, there's actually a starter guide and tips on how you actually begin coding. And by coding, what we mean is you actually give the robot directions for what to execute. And the core, and coding is, a broad term, and it could refer to a lot of things. And now that we have pretty much every single device connected to the internet, coding is taking on different, it's becoming sort of, a word that's hard to define. And for kids between 2 and 7, the way we introduce them to the concept of coding is that you are able to give precise instructions to this, otherwise inanimate object, which is this robot. And so you have a series of blocks. There are 15 different blocks, and each one has a different command. So a block can be move forward, it could be sing a song, it could be dance, it could be start over and go back to the beginning, it could be start executing a function. So it goes all the way from very simple, such as directional blocks, to very complex, like actually creating your own function, which is an arbitrary set of commands. And kids, through the books that we have, actually first learn how to navigate the robot using directional commands, and later begin to learn more complicated concepts in programming, such as loops, such as functions, such as recursion. And so that is how we actually introduce coding to kids, as young as 2.
Right, and the age range, the described age range here is 3 to 6, but depending on the child, it could skew younger, could skew older too, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of 2.5-year-olds. Yeah, maybe 2 is on the really young side, but we've seen a couple of 2.5-year-olds do it. So yeah, 3 to 6 is probably the safe age range.
So tell us about your journey in creating this. It's an interesting story.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as you know, my experience with Piper kind of helped shape that journey as well. You know, Miran and I it was a good friend of mine. We, when we started Piper, we brought Miran, my partner, on as head of marketing. And so we knew from our work at Piper that today's parents are, they're seeing screens as kind of both a good and a bad, in the sense that there's a lot of great things you can learn on the internet through a screen. There's a lot of great content. But at the same time, it can also suck you in and it can become addicting. And it could also have, negative health implications for young kids who maybe don't necessarily have the self-control to stop after maybe an hour or two. And so the idea with Piper was you would teach kids how to actually build a computer, and they would build it with their hands. They would wire up all the electronics, and then they would have a fully working computer on which they could play Minecraft and do all kinds of other things. And that was for older kids, 7 to 12, I would say. And we thought, how do we also address the need of parents who have younger kids, who have the exact same needs, who have the exact same desires, who want their kids to understand really important subjects that their kids will need to have for the future, but without necessarily exposing them to a screen too early. And so we started, talking to lots of parents. We talked to, dozens of different parents of different demographics in different parts of the United States and Europe. And we asked them, what kinds of things are you looking for in experience? And one of the things that parents kept coming back to is that, they would love for something to be screenless, something to be analog. And one of the things that was common across all of these families was that they all had story time. And so we thought, how do we combine and make, story time kind of a more engaging? How do we add an element of additional interactivity into story time? And so that was kind of the beginning of the journey. And we started prototyping and testing, in homes, probably, less than a year, about a year ago. I remember now. And after we kind of, saw the delight that parents and kids had, one of the features that we saw was very important is actually the ability to customize the robot. So parents and kids all over the world have tons and tons of old Legos that are sitting in bins. I'm sure your grandkids have lots of Legos. And what we did is we made the robot Lego compatible. So kids could actually use their old Legos and craft spaceships or boats, really anything they wanted, on top of this Mochi robot that they could then control. So that made kind of the robot more engaging and made the lifetime of the product longer as well. For a lot of toys on the market, so you play with it for maybe a day, maybe 2 days, and then it's kind of into the closet it goes. We really wanted to make kind of, a long-lasting product, something that parents and kids could return to week after week, month after month, and continue to get value from. And so having this Lego integration and the ability to add craft and other ways to customize the robot was very important. So that was one learning that we got from parents. And then we launched a Kickstarter campaign that was back in October. So only less than 4 months ago. We quickly got, I believe, close to 1,000 pre-orders in less than 30 days. There's about $250,000 in dollars, and we hustled in China to produce the first batch, and we shipped it out to customers. And yeah, I mean the reviews have been great, and parents love it, and they want more content and more books. And we're actually shipping out, the other, like I said, there's 12 books, so the rest of the books are shipping now to customers, and so parents continue to get value and enjoy the product, and kids are loving it as well.
And is your plan to continue to grow what this can do, more books, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we see this as a platform that that can allow parents to teach kids different subjects, whatever they want, and ideally also follow kids throughout, maybe a couple of years of their development to help them through this robot, through the bear, Mochi, through the characters that they learn about and come to love, teach them other subjects, right? So the subjects that we have now are, there's space, there's fruits and veggies, there's good habits, there's letters, there's numbers, there's biology, where Mochi goes inside the cell. So these are kind of, we see this as kind of the introductory set of content. You can see all the content, all the books on our website at learnwithmochi.com. And then after this, we'll begin to add additional books, kind of aging up, right? So we're looking into books right now, developing books about sleep, about different animals, about different countries and different regions of the world. So the idea is to make this, to create a content library, probably anywhere from, 30 to 40 books that parents can purchase in addition to Mochi and have an engaging educational experience. And one thing I didn't mention was that when I say books, it actually is more than a book. You actually get this mat. It's a 3 foot by 3 foot kind of cloth mat that you lay. It's kind of like a little carpet that you lay out on the floor. And the scene that's depicted on the carpet is actually the scenes that come from the book. And the mat is divided into grids. So there's a grid and it's numbered. And so the way that Mochi travels around the spaces, kind of you try to make him go from different points in the grid. And that's where kind of the tie-in happens between the story and the physical activities that they do. So you get the book, you get the mat, you get some additional craft pieces and a few different coding blocks that give you different functions. So every content pack actually isn't just the story, it's actually additional learning and additional value that parents get. So that's kind of how we see it developing, and we hope that Mochi can become one of the kind of core pillars for kids for growing up and learning about technology, today in our time.
And is there wireless technology involved in some way here for the commands to reach Mochi?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it works the exact same way that your wireless headphones do. It uses Bluetooth. So the board sends a Bluetooth command to the robot, and the robot executes that command, and then it sends the command back to the board to tell it that it's done. And another piece that I actually, I guess, skipped over was that, we learned this from testing, was that for younger kids, it's very important to have multi-sensory feedback. That's one of the things that makes iPads so engaging. Not just obviously they're engaging for everyone, but for younger kids especially, is because there's visual, there's sound, there's touch. And so we actually added sound to the programming board. So whenever the robot is executing a certain function, or whenever it's done, or whatever it's doing some behavior, the board actually narrates what's happening. So when you're playing with Mochi, it's almost like you're watching an interactive video, because there's sound, there's motion, you're touching the pieces. And an additional thing that it can do is that it can also sing songs and read you the book. So some of the parents who were really busy, they told us, sometimes they don't have time to do story time with kids. And so Mochi actually has the ability to read the book that the kids really like directly to the kid. So they just place the book block on the board, and the board begins reading. And so I'm sure all parents know this. Kids sometimes get a favorite book, and they just want the parent to read it over and over and over. And now, if the parent doesn't have energy to do that, they can help keep the kid listening to the book through Mochi.
Mochi to the rescue. Tell us about pricing and again about availability, Mark.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So the core kit is $189 on our website, and it's also available on Amazon. $189, $189, and we also have an additional 5-book pack that comes with 5 books, 5 mats, more coating blocks, and that costs $129. And the core kit, when that's $189, it comes with the space theme. So we learn about space, and the 5-book set comes with 5 other themes. I don't remember exactly which ones, but you can see it on the website. And we also have a 6-book set to finish out the 12, and that's $139, and that's shipping in May of this year. And then we'll have more books to come later in the year. And you can also buy additional blocks on the website. If you more commands, if you're more advanced, you can buy more function, more programming blocks, more movement blocks. So we give customers the option to kind of keep expanding on the product that they like.
Terrific. The website again is learnwithmochi.com. M-O-C-H-I is how you spell Mochi. Mark Pavlyukovskyy, thank you for taking the time with us.
Thank you, Fred. Really great to be here.
Now this. How many companies out there have continued to innovate when it comes to building a better radio? I'm Fred Fishkin, host of Techstination, and I'm here to tell you about the new CC Skywave SSB radio from the wonderful people at C. Crane. Bob and his crew really love radio, and it shows in this new compact model that is packed with features. Beyond great AM and FM reception and sound, you can tune into shortwave signals from around the world, listen to ham radio operators, aviation, and more. It's the radio you'll turn to every day, and in emergencies. It will run for nearly 3 days on just 2 AA batteries. Pair the sleep timer with the new Soft Speaker 3, and you've got the perfect radio for your nightstand. Of course, it can wake you up too. Click on C-Crane at Techstination.com and put in the code Techstination for a free flashlight with your order. They love radio, and you'll love C-Crane.